Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper. The countdown is on. It's now just 2 days until the Tigers take on Alabama in the SEC championship game. We have reporters spread across the heart of SEC country. We begin our coverage with KOMU8's Jim Reek, who is live outside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Hey, Jim.
Brittany, thank you very much. During the dinner break, we decided to play, the Channel 8 crew decided to play the what if game. What if Missouri wins? What if Missouri loses? What if Missouri wins, but then this, and this happen? And I mean, there are at least 100 different combinations of what could happen. I think the bottom line is, if you're a Missouri fan, the Tigers need to win and then let the chips fall where they fall. But there are a lot of different combinations of what could happen from the outcome of this SEC championship game starting at 3 o'clock Saturday here at the Georgia Dome behind me. I will say this, there are a lot of SEC fans here in the Georgia area. They're very concerned about Missouri winning because they feel that if the Tigers win, then there is no chance for an SEC team to win the national championship. You think about it, if Missouri wins, they might not make the playoffs, and if Missouri wins, they might knock Alabama out of contention. With more on that story, I am joined by KOMU8's Rachel Whittle, who is at the Sky Lounge downtown at the Glen Hotel. Rachel.
I'm at Sky Lounge, which is the rooftop bar and highest level here at the Glen Hotel, with a great view of the city behind me. Now, it's actually right down the street from the Georgia Dome and Restaurant Row, which is a popular spot for SEC game days here. Now, Restaurant Row is a stretch that is always ready for SEC fans. I spoke with the executive general manager of Legacy Restaurant Partners, which owns Restaurant Row and surrounding hotels. He told me Alabama fans are probably less likely to make the trip to Atlanta this year.
Alabama's definitely going to be the favorite for the closer proximity. We still think there'll be probably more Alabama fans than Missouri fans, but we don't think the amount of people are going to come that typically would in years past. They're going to look at spending their money on one of the playoff games that'll follow the SEC championship, because I think they're pretty confident they're going to come home with a victory.
Even if Alabama fans do travel less in hopes of a championship win, Troy Landry and other fans say there is no comparison when it comes to SEC atmosphere here in Atlanta.
Teams that are in that conference, the fans of SEC teams, it is definitely like no other.
It really keeps us going when we have that kind of energy. It's like we don't get tired. We really excited, and we just get into the spirit of the games.
It's here yet, but that will all change tomorrow. SEC Fanfare opens tomorrow afternoon, and then the Mizzou Alumni Association, the Atlanta chapters, also hosting a party. We're going to go live from both of those locations. For now, reporting live with the Mizzou Extra, Rachel Whittle, KOMU8 News, and now we'll send you over to KOMU8's Jay Wallace with a look at Tuscaloosa's special hotspots.
Welcome back to Tuscaloosa, everyone. Well, back in Columbia, there are certain restaurants that have a special relationship with the city and Mizzou. Now, this restaurant right here, this has a unique connection with this city and the Crimson Tide.
They're all like this. When you eat at Dreamland Barbecue, one of Alabama's most famous restaurants, you're getting more than just a taste of Southern ribs.
As they franchise the company itself, when you think of Alabama football, don't you think of Dreamland Barbecue? When you think of Dreamland Barbecue, don't think of Alabama football. So like I said, so those two do go hand in hand, because like I said, it's right here in town. And like I said, this is where they come to eat.
Back in 1958, John Big Daddy Bishop opened this restaurant, which was also the first year Paul Bear Bryant started coaching at Alabama. Willie Gardner, the head pit cooker, has been working at Dreamland for about 7 years now, and actually worked with Bishop's oldest son, Bobby Bishop.
Me stressing the tradition part of it is so important to me, because like I said, the people who showed me is the ones who started it.
And just like all the Alabama fans here in Tuscaloosa, Willie isn't one bit surprised his Crimson Tide have made it this far.
I don't know how they, you know what I'm saying, haven't won 7 straight championships since he's been here. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's not surprising at all that, you know what I'm saying, Bama's going back to the SEC championship. Like, who didn't think Bama wasn't going to go at the beginning of the season?
Now, I had some of these ribs in Kansas City. Don't be mad at me, but Alabama barbecue might give you a run for your money. Now, going from the food change to the football field, I'll be back later in the show to tell you how closely Nick Saban is paying attention to those Missouri Tigers. Reporting live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for Mizzou Extra, Jay Wallace, KOMU8 News.
All right, thanks, Jay. More Fulton residents will now have the opportunity to get health care services at the Callaway Community Hospital. MU Healthcare and a private health organization, Nuterra Health Systems, bought the hospital today. The partnership will provide funding for improvement projects that will add space and medical staff to the 37-bed hospital.
By us stepping in and keeping the facility viable, that improves cost and access to services. So yes, this would be a big plus for the residents of Fulton.
The renovations planned for the next several months include adding more general surgery rooms for specialties like orthopedics. This year's flu shot is not as effective against the current most common influenza virus. The CDC says 52% of the samples studied were caused by a strain different from the one contained in the vaccine. It believes the strain mutated or shifted. The Columbia-Boone County Health Department says they've seen an increase in this type of flu.
We have seen an increase overall in Boone County, a significant increase of the amount of influenza, specifically type A, which is the H3N2 coming into the county that have been reported.
Wehner says flu season peaks in January and February. She and the CDC say using antivirals like Tamiflu and Relenza early is especially important to reduce flu symptoms when the vaccine is less effective. A Florida wildlife organization is demanding $250,000 from the city of Columbia after it claims one of its alligators was killed and another injured. Take a look. We have video of employee Kenneth Henderson, known as the Gator Educator. In 2011, the city seized 11 of Henderson's alligators and charged him with keeping dangerous wild animals without registration. According to the letter from the organization's attorney to the mayor, Henderson told animal control officers to keep the alligators separate from one another, but they didn't.
The alligator, one, dead. Another one, egregiously disfigured and permanently marred, requiring monumental expenses for rehabilitation of this animal.
Mayor Bob McDavid was unavailable for comment, and staff in his office say they did not recall seeing a demand letter arrive at City Hall. Well, looks like rain for the weekend, so let's send it over to Maya to see if we have any relief coming later in the weekend.
Well, yes, we do have the rain for tomorrow, and as you can see here on the satellite and radar, the cloud cover is moving into the area. It was a dreary day today, one of those days you just didn't want to step outside the house, and the cloud cover is going to stick with us through Friday. Now, currently we are dealing with a temperature of 38 degrees. Now, there is fog outside. If you stepped outside, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, and that fog is going to stick with us through the morning. So coming up, we'll have a look at the rainy forecast and how much rain we'll get coming up in just a bit.
Ferguson protesters moved closer to the Capitol building today. The details on their journey later in the show.